Oh, hey guys, you scared me. I know that's from Adam McGill, but hey, we're gonna use it. All right, check it out. Look at this day we got. It is freaking gorgeous out. Probably almost 70, almost the end of October. Crazy. We'll take it though, right? Because I'm not ready for that cold weather yet. So we're gonna be in the garage today, changing out the old chain and sprockets. We already got the chain off. You guys saw the last video. We fixed this rear section of the frame, got that all done, and you can see, look at this thing. This thing's peened over. This thing is look at that one. I mean, I probably could get another ride out of it, but this is a accident waiting to happen. So we are going to change it out. Let's see how the rear looks. The rear isn't too bad. The rear is definitely in better shape than the front, but when you're doing a chain of sprockets, guys, you got to do it all. You can't cut corners. You got to do the front sprocket, the back sprocket, and the chain. Otherwise, you're going to get premature wear on the chain. So always do it all. We are using Sunstar products. Huge thanks to them for getting me a setup. And let's get going. All right, let's get this opened up. All steel sprockets. There is options for the rear to go aluminum. Do not ever use aluminum for the rear sprocket. It will not last. We got our rear sprocket, and I do run stock. I do run stock sizes, 14 front. I believe this is a 38 rear. And I just get the 100 link chain. I just cut a couple links off of it, and that's that. Got our master link. They give you some stickers, which is cool. Get some Sunstar stickers. All right. So we'll open this up after. We're going to do the sprockets first. I guess we can start. We will start with the front. We'll remove it first. Remove the old one. If it'll come off, we'll have to see. Should come off. Came off. Look at that thing. That thing is shot. Fresh sprocket, and look, you can see the difference here. Big time. Alright, we'll get the new one on. Just like that. Now what we will do is we're going to go back and tighten this once I get the chain on. I don't like cranking it too hard while it's in gear. So now we'll work on getting the rear sprocket off. I'm going to have to take this whole hub off. Not a big deal. Pop this off. Oh shit. Damn it. Alright, so we just cut our finger a little bit. Not too bad. Just got a band-aid quick. Oh, that's what you get when you don't use the right tools for the job. So hopefully the bleeding stops. Wasn't too bad. Just a little slice on my index finger with a nice fresh blade. Alright, so let's get this off, because we have to take this guy off to get it off. can undo the sprocket. And the sprocket guard. Not too bad, but like I said, better change them all. Here's the new one, 38 tooth. Put our spacers back on. Alright, now we will get the hub back on. Get my inner mud plug on there. Now, I'm sure not all you guys will have this exact setup. Some of you guys may just have the stock sprocket with no sprocket guard, so you'll just have the stock bolts. You can put those back the same way you took them off. And if you do not have one of these guys, you will not need to take the hub off. You can get the sprocket off around this. I just had to take it off so I could get this out. So just keep that in mind if your setup is a little different. Tighten this one up. Put this guy back on. I like to put a zip tie around those, keep them from coming undone. Alright, so now we can move on to the chain. Throw this guy out. This is right there. Boom. So we will take one link off this chain. That's all we need to do. Just keep in mind, if you guys are changing sprocket sizes, if you're going up in the front or down in the rear, or up in the rear, just keep in mind that you may need all these links or even less links to get your chain slack right. So just keep that in mind. I do have a chain breaker, but I'm going to use this. Only because it's funner. The chain breaker is actually a pain in the butt, honestly. So let me use this. Alright, now we can lay this on our sprocket, get a little leverage. We can tap this link off. Like that. Get some pliers. See, there it is. She's off. Now every time I do this, I like to save these O-rings because if you are taking the chain on and off, sometimes those can rip. So it's always nice to have spare ones when you put your master link back on. So keep that in mind, because you don't want to reuse the ripped ones because they'll end up falling off, and then you will have a little bit of slack in the chain, which isn't good. Or at least in that master link, you'll have a little play, side to side play. You don't want that. You want to keep that thing tight. Keep those O-rings in there. Throw all the trash out. All right, so let's get this around. Then we will put on the master link. We will have to loosen the carrier also, because we're going to have to roll it probably forward, since this is a new chain. And then you guys can pretty much do one decent ride. It's always nice to have this stuff with you if you're close. Keep this Allen wrench and your carrier tool. The stock one, you can actually just use a screwdriver or an Allen wrench like that, but this is an LSR one, so we got the little holes like that. So after a ride, you want to recheck the slack and tighten it up a little bit, because they will stretch. So we will loosen this. And that's something you always want to pay attention to. Pay attention to the slack in your chain before every ride, before every race. You can have issues if it's too tight, and you can have issues if it's too loose. So you got to pay attention to that. Make sure it's, I think the Yamahas recommend an inch and a quarter or so with you on the quad. So with you on the quad, you want to have about 1.25 inches of slack like that. So keep an eye on that. Don't let it go too out of spec, because you're gonna have issues. You can throw a chain if it's too loose, and you can snap a chain if it's too tight. I know a lot of guys snap chains and they think it's the chain's fault. Well, if you do not pay attention to the chain slack, then that's your fault. So can't blame the chain at that point. And even worst case scenario, you can actually damage the engine case if your chain is too tight, if you're jumping and stuff. Because as the swing arm moves and the suspension travel is changing, the chain tightens up and loosens. So when that thing tightens up, if the slack is too tight, you could have a serious problem. So you don't want to do that. Get some channel locks. Squeeze this thing together. that's good. Looks close. Oh, I'm gonna go a little more. I may have to get a C-clamp and just squeeze it a little better because these things are tight. Yeah, we'll do the old C-clamp trick. The little socket, this works pretty good. If you can't get this thing in all the way, just grab a small socket and a C-clamp, and you can tighten it up a little more like this. That should be good. Well, it still needs to be a little more. Gonna get on the rivet. I think that's the trick. Just push it through. That looks better. Hopefully that did the trick. Yep, that's good. Oh, see this one? Oh, this one's still... The back one needs a little more. There we go. All right. Hit this guy on. Now they do make a nice chain tool. I don't have that, so I kind of just use my flathead with my pliers, and I just try to tap it on. Like that. That wasn't too bad. You make sure it's all the way on. Give this one a little more tap. That looks good. Some guys will rivet their chain. That's up to you. This is nice just so you can take it off for maintenance or whatever. Yeah, that's good. I just like to squeeze that, make sure it's on. So that's good. And make sure you have the closed end facing the front of the quad, the direction that you go, like that. You don't want this end facing forward because that could come apart. Something could hit it and could pop that thing off, and that will be a bad day because you will lose your chain. All right, so now we got to get the tires on, and then we can adjust the slack and tighten up that front sprocket. We are actually going to change these tires, so I'm just going to put 2 lug nuts on them for now. I got some fresh rubber. I'm going to put some new ones on. Maybe save these for just practice, but I like to have some fresh tires on here. Good folks at GBC taking good care of me. Alright, so now we can let our jack down and we will adjust the slack. Alright, as you can see, obviously that is way too loose, guys. But before we do that, let's just tighten up this front sprocket, and then we will lock down the little tabs on it. good. Last thing to do on that, we got two little kind of like locking tabs. You just tap those in. That'll just keep that bolt locked on there. I've never had one of these actually come off, but this is just a little insurance. All right. Now I know we're going to roll this thing back a little bit, so let's roll it back. So that's tight, so we're going to go up just a little bit, and we will sit on it and see what it looks like. Climb up here. It's got to go more. I'm saying that's pretty good right there. Alright, so that's pretty good right there. Obviously when this thing goes down, you can see that's about just over an inch. So we will lock these down, and that is a wrap. Now what we will do is get a ride on this. One ride, the chain's going to stretch a little bit, so you will want to recheck your chain slack and adjust as necessary. And then usually after one ride, maybe two, just keep an eye on it. Like I always, even before a race, I always check it and adjust it if it needs it. So all right, so everything's tight. Chain and sprocket is complete. So that's a wrap. That's a wrap for the chain and sprockets, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you got any questions, drop a comment. And oh, I gotta tighten my skid plate. Look at that. See, that's why you gotta check your stuff, guys. Look, see, that's loose. So we need to tighten that. Always keep an eye on stuff like that, because you don't want to lose your skid plate and then have no protection. So like I was saying, if you got any questions, drop a comment, throw me a thumbs up in this video. That helps me out a lot. And if you're not yet, please consider subscribing, and we will see you guys on the next one. All right, peace out.